In the 1967 movie The Graduate, the titular character is told that the future can be expressed in just one word: plastics. And that movie wasn't wrong. Advances in chemical manufacturing in the 20th century were able to turn crude oil into products like detergents, industrial chemicals, and yes, plastics. This new type of chemistry drove billions of dollars in economic growth, and it made people's lives infinitely easier. But it didn't come without a cost. Chemical manufacturing is a dirty process that emits fossil fuels, creates its own pollution, and accidents at chemical plants can cause fires and even explosions near city areas. But here in the 21st century, there are companies looking to manufacture chemicals that farmers, manufacturers, and consumers use every day without the dirty process of cracking fossil fuels. These range from genetically modifying microbes to create the chemicals that we need, to even literally creating fertilizer out of thin air. All without the dirty, costly processes that defined chemical manufacturing in the 20th century. To better understand how chemical manufacturing impacts climate change, we talked to two academic experts who've been researching how chemical manufacturing affects the environment and how to make them greener.
The chemical industry is incredibly broad, and in many ways it can kind of be broken down into two major components. The first would be some of the large-scale chemicals that we use. In our industry, we're called commodity chemicals. The other are specialty chemicals.
So most industrial chemicals are part of a petroleum-based supply chain, and we've devised this supply chain and processing paradigm that involves temperature and pressure. So we apply high temperatures or we apply pressure to materials, and that allows them to interconvert and make other chemicals or materials that we need to use. But we know that there are sustainability challenges here. This sort of processing method leads to huge greenhouse gas emissions.
One of the big impacts is energy. A lot of these processes take an awful lot of energy. They're done at high pressure and or high temperature. And one of the big negative impacts is all the energy required to make the chemicals generates a lot of carbon dioxide.
What are the prospects for using yeast, bacteria, and other microorganisms to manufacture chemicals?
Yeah, I think nature has this incredible ability to conduct chemical transformations in a really selective manner. And I think learning to harness that capability in an energy efficient manner remains one of the frontiers. And I think we've seen an appreciable amount of progress in terms of being able to take nature's machinery and use it for things that humans desire in a more energy efficient manner.
There are lots of companies and entrepreneurs who are taking the old-fashioned methods of chemical manufacturing and turning them into something that's more efficient, more sustainable, and costs less money. For example, Omaha-based Monolith Materials is taking the greenhouse gas methane and turning it into fertilizer for farms. And today we're going to be talking to Houston-based Solugen, which is taking the waste from corn harvesting and turning it into greener industrial chemicals.
At Solugen, we're using the power of synthetic biology to make low-cost, high-performance, and carbon-negative specialty chemicals. The entire purpose of the chemicals industry is to purchase a low-cost feedstock and convert it into a high-value product as efficiently as possible.
The way we produce our products without the same level of CO2 emissions as the incumbents is by completely reimagining how we think about chemical manufacturing. And the way we do that is we take the best of two worlds. Today, chemistry is made with either petrochemistry or through fermentation. What we've done at Solugen is said, well, we don't want to demonize petrochemistry because it's worked. It's worked for many years. So perhaps there's a way we can marry the two to create something that's better than each.
We take the enzymes from the cells and we take the metal catalyst from thermochemistry and we combine them together in a new way. And for the first time, we can convert feedstock directly into product. So today, we're using corn syrup as our feedstock. In addition to corn syrup, our enzymes and metal catalysts can also convert other sugars, alcohols, as well as vegetable oils into specialty chemicals.
The idea for Solugen actually was born out of our PhD work from me and Sean. One night over a poker game, we started talking and realized that there might be a world where we marry my love for enzymes and biology with his love for process design and metal catalysis to make a more efficient process. Some of the products that we're making for our customers right now are a suite of water treatment chemicals. So these are chemicals that kill bacteria, prevent corrosion of water pipes and tanks, and it prevent hard water from forming in our water supplies.
So after we got the initial $10,000 grant from MIT, we only had $10,000, so the question was, well, we have some customers who are interested in buying our first product. What can we do with this money to deliver on that? So this is a $7,000 essentially PVC bubble column, but with this we were able to make a mixture of hydrogen peroxide and organic acids, but we'd make little 5-gallon buckets, and then I'd put them in my Subaru and drive around Dallas, and those were our first 3 customers were float spas in the Dallas area.
Every aspect of our process technology has been looked at from the lens of sustainability and carbon negativity. It's all 100% wind power here. Today, evaporation is done using natural gas, pretty intense process, but what we've been able to do is use natural gas and actually use one of the world's most energy efficient evaporation technologies that actually allows us to be carbon negative. As a physician, my focus is to do no harm, and now the biggest harm that's happening is what's happening to the environment. And so as a physician, it felt like the only way that I can actually help humanity was to focus on this massive problem. And so that's really what excited us to keep going.
Yeah, what they're doing at Solugen is at the very frontier of making use of an enzymatic toolkit to be able to then produce a commodity chemical in a way that seems very techno-economically and sustainability-wise attractive. And that is, in many cases, felt as though it's out of reach. I think many will be paying a lot of attention to the approach that Solugen is taking and thinking about how to apply that to an even wider range of chemicals.
In the 1960s, the future may have looked like plastics. But in the 2020s, we're taking the biological power of life itself to power a greener and more sustainable way to manufacture the chemicals we need.